So the theme of our class today is Who am I? And I said in the Zoom link letter that this is considered the most important question in yoga because it's actually all about our identity. Because, and I won't talk too much, but I just want to explain that if we identify very much with maybe what we have done in the past for a living, or if we identify with our illness or our health, for example, if we identify too much with a state of being, this can actually cause us to suffer because it's not who we really are. And our identities, like the circumstances, like our thoughts, like our emotions, they come and they go. And I'm going to explain more about this as we go along. I also just like to say that I said to my partner yesterday that I was doing Who Am I? And he looked very blankly at me and said, I haven't really got a clue what you're on about. But then he's not into yoga. So these kinds of philosophical questions don't interest him like they do me. Like I hope that they might interest you a little bit. The main thing really is that what we're looking at today is quietening the mind, because the mind can torture us, it can create a lot of suffering, it can tell us really sad, uncomfortable stories. So we want the mind to be spacious, we want the mind to be free. So with that said, come to your comfortable sitting position, and I already explained if you need to lie down, that's fine. And if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. Have your feet on the floor, unless you're sitting cross-legged on something. And take a moment or two to think about your posture. Now, when we're ill, we tend to hunch over, we tend to kind of constrict around the front of the body, squashing maybe our heart and our diaphragm. So think about opening up and freeing around the heart center. And think about creating space between the crown of the head and the tailbone so that the ribs are free, because this is going to help with the breathing. Soften the jaw. Soften the area around the eyes. And feel yourself coming into your body. And we start with the check-in. So just observe how you are in this moment. And maybe the mind is darting ahead and again telling you all these stories. That's fine. When you notice that, just bring it back either to the breath or the body. And just be aware of your feet. And be aware of your hips and where you are connecting with your support. We're going to start by doing a little bit of breath work. So if it's okay for you, take one hand to the chest, the other to the belly. And we're going to direct the breath into the hand that's on the belly, but just for a moment or two, just observe how you are breathing. Don't judge anything. Just observe how you are with compassion, not wanting anything to be different from how it is. And then if you are able to, just allow the breath to begin to slow down. And if you can access it, breathe through the nose. And if you can't, that's fine too. So the hand that's on the heart is kind of pacifying the upper body. So the chest might be moving a little, but the hand that's on the belly is rising and falling gently. So as you breathe in, the hand on the belly slightly lifts. As you breathe out, the hand drops. But it's a very gentle movement. And then just take a moment or two just to focus on the exhalation. Think of the out breath as being long and smooth. And then drop your hands back down to your knees and just observe how you are. And see if you can bring an aspect of compassion into this observation. And then we're going to ask a question. And if it means nothing to you, don't worry, but just ask the question, who am I? And I'm going to direct you with this, but we'll come back to it again towards the end of the practice. So the questions I'm going to give you are just reflective questions, and they are, who am I without my stories? Am I the current thought or the next thought? Am I my experiences or my circumstances? Am I my feelings, my emotions? And then, if you can, for a moment or two, just observe the pause after the exhalation. So this is just a very short meditation. And as I've already explained, if it doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry. Hopefully, as the session goes on, it might begin to become a little bit clearer. But if it doesn't, don't worry. It's about having a sense of yourself as the mind quietens. And now we're going to just bring our weight to our left buttock. And then come back to center. And then bring our weight onto our right buttock. And come back to center. Come back to the left again. And just now have a sense that your weight is pouring down through that left buttock, down through onto the ground. Ground is holding the left side. And then come back to the center. And then take that to the right. So feel that your weight is pouring down through your right side. Come back to the center. And then just stay centered for a moment or two, observing if the left or right side feel heavier on one side than the other. And again, we're watching this with compassion. It's a neutral observation. We're not judging anything. And then we're just going to move from the pelvis. We're going to imagine that we're stirring a pot with our body. So if you need to look up at the screen, do so. So keep the buttocks on your chair. And if you're lying down, you can just visualize this. And from your pelvis, just stir as if your body's a great big spoon that you're stirring. So we're just getting a bit of movement into the pelvis. And then come back to center. And then we're going to take that in the opposite direction. and come back to center. And then we're going to do a little bit of tapping this morning, just to help us be more somatic, be more inside our body. So just start by tapping down side of the jawbone. And then bring your fingertips to your chest. We're just doing this to help us feel more present and inside our body, because the body is actually our portal for the who am I question. And then take the right hand and stroke down the left arm. And then we're going to take that to the other side. And then we're going to massage around the jaw. And then with the fingertips, just gently tap around the scalp. And then take your fingertips to the back of your cranium, back of the head, bring them together, and then just pull the fingers apart so that you're giving space into the skull of the head. And then shake out the hands. And then rest the hands on the lap. Close your eyes. And again, just come into the body and observe. Just see if the mind is becoming a little more peaceful. And if it's not, that's fine too. Just see if you can observe the spaces between the thoughts and watch for the next thought. And then we're going to do a little bit more breathing. So we're going to do what we did last week. We're going to do 2 sniffs for the inhalation, and then we're going to blow the breath out through pursed lips. So when we breathe in with the 2 sips, we're splitting the inhalation. This is called a krama, or a step breath. It's very, very good for chronic fatigue. So we inhale again, and then through pursed lips, blow the breath out as if you're blowing out through a straw. So again, inhale, sniff, sniff, blow the breath out. Try that in your own breathing rhythm up to 5 times. And then we're going to do 5 breaths, humming the breath out on the exhalation in your own breathing rhythm and your own pitch. So if you can, breathe through the nose. Nice, long, smooth hum on the out breath. This is really helping to set up the exhalation. And then we're going to combine a little bit of movement with sound. So you're going to inhale, lift the arms up, keep the shoulders soft. And then we're going to om the arms back down. Om. 3 to 5 times in your own breathing rhythm, your own pitch. Inhaling to lift, feel the arms feather light. Om. So just do as many times as feels right. If you're tired, please rest out. And of course, you can do this from lying if you are lying. When you finish, just rest the hands on the lap, on the knees, wherever is comfortable. And again, a reflective question, who am I? Can you get glimpses behind the mind when the thoughts become quiet with that eternal you, the presence of you that was there this morning when you had your breakfast, yesterday, last week, last year, and going all the way back to your childhood. There's something of you that remains the same. Just see if you can begin to observe that. That sense of your presence as the mind becomes quiet. And then when you're ready, we're going to come down to either the mat on the floor or sofa or a bed. So if you like to come down to lying, we're still going to do a little bit of movement and sound. And then after that, we'll be doing our longer yoga nidra practice. So please come down to rest in a way that's comfortable for you. So I suggest you have your knees bent to start and something under your head to help support your neck. You might like to place something under your knees. And of course, if you prefer to lie on your side or your back, that's also fine. But just start by exploring your weight and the connection of your body on your support. Feel the weight of your head. Feel the weight of your back. And then very gently and slowly roll the head from side to side. And the slower you make the movement, the more you're engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, coming out of the stress response. So make that movement slow and mindful. You might observe the neck feels different on one side from the other. And just observe that neutrally with compassion, without any judgment. And then centering the head. Visualize now that on the inhalation, you're breathing in spaciousness into your mind. As you exhale, you are releasing this energy of apana. You're letting go on the out breath. Inhaling in spaciousness. exhaling and relaxing and releasing. And then take one hand to your heart and just say to yourself mentally, I am enough. I am enough as I am. Nothing to achieve, nothing to be, nothing to do. Just your own presence is enough. And welcome yourself. Take the other hand, place it on the belly, and again direct the breath into the hands on the belly through the nose. Release the hands back beside the body. And then just visualize that you're breathing a white light up your right arm, sending it into the heart. And on the out breath, you're breathing a red light down your left arm, releasing anything you no longer want to hold on to. White light up the right arm on the in breath into the heart. Exhale down through the left arm. And if you want to change the colours, that's fine too. And then when you're ready, come back to normal breathing. Take one knee over the belly and then the other knee. And then just rock out from side to side. Hold either around the knees or below the knees, or if you have any knee problems, it's quite nice to hold under the knees just to give the knees that extra bit of space. And then still holding around the knees, just circle the ankles. So just get some movement into your ankle joints. Going one way, then the other. And then pausing, just wriggle your toes, spreading them if you can. Again, just getting some movements into those tiny joints. And then point and flex your feet a few times. Again, just to help the ankle joint when we're fatigued. Often we're not able to do too much exercise, but it's really good to keep the joints mobile. And then to keep the joints mobile, the knees and the hips, we're going to do a very gentle asana called Apanasana, which feels like we're almost doing nothing, but it's incredibly beneficial to the body. So we're going to draw the knees into the belly and then let them float away from us. And keep doing that. And if you can, you're going to coordinate that movement with the breath. So the knees come in towards you on an exhalation and they move away from you on an inhalation. But if you find that too hard to coordinate, don't worry. And as you do this gentle movement, what you're also doing is opening up the base of the spine. So that's very beneficial for the lower back. So be aware of what's happening around the lower back as you do this movement. And then when you're ready, drop your feet to the mat. Have the heels coming in towards the buttocks. Have the feet quite close together. Take the arms out like a cross just below the shoulder level. The hands can be down or up, it doesn't matter. We're going to do some very gentle twisting. And obviously, if you've got any pain or if you're tired and you want to rest out, please do so. So always work with compassion, move with compassion, listen to the body. But if you're okay to do the twist, we're going to see if we can coordinate this with the breath. So take an inhalation where you are. And then as you exhale, let the knees drop down towards the right. They might not come all the way down, that's fine. And then inhale and draw the knees back to the center. Exhale, the knees go to the left this time. They might not come all the way down. Just feel what the body needs. Inhale, bring the knees back to the center. Exhale, knees to the right, and head can roll over to the opposite direction, but keep the shoulders aligned on your support. Inhale, head and knees to center. Exhale, knees and head go in opposite direction. So just move like that a few times in your own breathing rhythm, listening into your energy, resting when you need to. So honor your body. Feel the joy of moving a little, but knowing it doesn't have to be too much. It doesn't have to be in a way that causes fatigue. And then when you're ready, center the knees, center the head, bring the knees into the chest, rock out the spine again from side to side just to counterpose that movement. And then take yourself back into Shavasana, the relaxation posture. And just let your awareness drift around the body, observing how you are, how the body is in this moment. No need to dwell on past or future. Just be here now, because that's all that there is in reality. And again, just watch for the next thought. And let your awareness fix on the silence. And if the mind drifts, just gently bring it back. And again, ask the question, reflect your question, who or what am I? And when the mind settles and the thoughts quieten, is this my true self? And then when you're ready, we're going to get ready for our deeper relaxation, our yoga nidra practice. So if you need to readjust yourself to get cushions or covers or eye masks. I'll just give you a moment or two to get ready. I'll turn my camera off and I'll turn it on again at the end of the session.